Hey everybody, Curtis here with another pedal comparison demo for you. This time it is the JHS Pedals Alpine Reverb on the left-hand side compared to the Cloud9 Reverb from Sky Pedals on the right. I'm going to be using my Fender Custom Shop Esquire with a Lawler Specialty in the bridge, going into my matchless Chieftain amplifier into its 112 speaker cabinet, mic'd with a Sennheiser E906, and here is my clean tone. And here is the JHS Alpine. And here is the Cloud9 Reverb. I'm going to play a little bit more for you, and I will show you the shift function that is available on the right-hand side of each pedal now as well. Here is the Cloud9 first. And here is the JHS Alpine. So what we have here from JHS Pedals and Sky Pedals are two reverb pedals that share the same genetic. And by that I mean the Sky Pedals company actually was up for sale, and they had a conversation with JHS Pedals, and it went well, I guess you could say. And JHS really kind of liked where the Cloud9 Reverb kind of was at. But they also saw potential for some great improvements. And so, as you can see very obviously, they both have two stomp switches on them, one to activate the reverb and one to activate a shift function. The shift function is really cool. This reverb knob and this reverb knob are essentially the same. They control the amount of reverb or the wet-dry mix. And this shift knob on each of these pedals, you need to have the pedal on first, and then when you step on this, it kind of cancels out that knob or this knob on the Cloud9. And wherever you've set the shift knob is the amount of mix. So you can have a lower mix dialed in, and then, you know, like I have here at 12 o'clock and then 3 o'clock. Same thing on this pedal. And so it kind of takes over and gives you that kind of next level reverb, kind of great for ambient kind of stuff. So that's a really cool feature that the Cloud9 had. And the bass sound of it was good. JHS kind of really thought it could use a bit of tweaking in the circuit and then add some additional great features. So this is the reverb amount. This is the highs. We have a highs over here, which is basically a filter control. So it rolls off the highs. So as we go to the right, it's brighter, and as we go to the left, it rolls off those highs. It's the same thing essentially on the Cloud9. And then we have a trails control, which is like the length on this pedal, pretty similar. The length on this controls the time of the reverb tail, whether it's long or short. But JHS has gone and added a depth knob, which is a very common, not always necessary, but great control to be able to have on a reverb effect. And the depth controls really kind of almost like the size of the room. So, so this would be like a small room over here, and then this gets to be a larger, more cavernous space over here. So it's pretty cool that they've added that knob. Then they've also added some other things. On the side of the pedal, there is a jack. It accepts a TRS cable, which looks like a standard cable, except for it has tip, ring, and then sleeve. So it has two cables on the end of it, one going in the input of this micropog, one going in the output. And essentially what this is on this side here is an effects loop. So you can take another pedal like the micropog, and you can see the micropog in the loop of this Alpine Reverb from JHS in my Alpine Reverb demo, which I'll put a link to in this comparison video. I'll put it near the top of the description of this video so you can find it easily. And you can see how adding an effect like the Pog, you could potentially add a few pedals if you wanted. Modulation pedals would really work great in the effects loop of a reverb pedal. And it really adds a really kind of new dimension, especially when you're using the shift function and playing ambient reverbs. There's an internal switch, and you can decide whether you want the effects loop to affect both the main or basic reverb tone and your shifted function, or you can just assign that effects loop to the shifted function only, which is really, really cool. None of that effects loop or where you can assign it was available on the Cloud 9. This depth knob was not available on the Cloud 9. And then as well, this pedal is true bypass. So when you turn off that reverb effect, it just cuts off. It doesn't decay naturally. Really what you want a reverb is kind of mimic a room or and give you that reverberation. And you want something like that to decay pretty naturally. And so JHS has a buffered, like a bypass trails here. So essentially when you turn this off, the reverb decays out naturally, doesn't cut off abruptly. And there's a switch inside to control that if you want that setting like that or not, whether or not you want the trails to continue. So they've added a few really cool things. What I want to do now is I want to show you this depth knob on the Alpine unit just to focus on it a little bit. So here's clean. So that would be a really small room there. As you can heard, it stopped abruptly. What I want to do now is I actually want to compare these two pedals with all the controls at 12. We'll leave the shift functions where they are, just to give you an idea, because they do share the same genetic. They do have some similar qualities in the reverb tone and sound. The Alpine being kind of a little bit of an advancement, a little more features, a little bit more control, a little bit of an update in some ways to the Cloud 9. So. And now the JHS Alpine. So as you can hear, they have similar qualities, but they do still sound different. And they have different kind of, as the decay sounds, particularly when you listen to that decay, you can hear the difference in the reverb tones. So I'm just going to kind of give you a deeper tone here with this. And I'm going to turn up the highs a little bit, bring the trails over to about here, and the length Very similarly done. And just give you a little bit more of a maxed out kind of setting with the shift function on. So here's clean. So there we have it, everybody. The JHS Alpine Reverb compared to the Cloud9 Reverb from Sky Pedals. They share the same genetic originally, and the Alpine is a tweaked, updated version, kind of like a 2.0 or a 3.0 times JHS awesomeness added in, and some really cool new features and controls. So thanks so much for watching. Like if you like, dislike if you absolutely have to. Please subscribe to my channel if you can. I do appreciate all the likes and comments and views, and I hope you have a great day. Take care.